I grew up in a Christian home, going to church every Sunday, going to Awana, doing my nightly devotionals with my mom, but I never really understood what it meant to live for Jesus. I always thought that, hey, if I go to church, like, I'm okay. Growing up, I never really had a relationship with my dad, and I just always remember trying to fill that void with things such as boys, popularity, my appearance, and really just trying to put my identity into those things. And I think that really took a toll on my mental health, and it drained me because putting your identity into something that is always gonna fail you and will never leave you feeling loved is just, it's mentally exhausting and draining. And I got to a point where I was like, why am I here? And I was questioning my existence. There's like a trail next to my house, and I started walking on there, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to live. I feel so alone. I feel like I'm the only one going through this, and I feel like it's just never going to end. I called up a friend who I had gone to youth group with, and I remember having that conversation and just hearing those words of encouragement of like, hey, you can do this. Like, you are here for a purpose. That was just so encouraging, and I think that's what made me decide to stay. It was a Wednesday night. We were circled up for a small group, and the discussion for the night was identity. And I just remember hearing the word identity, and I was like, whoa, what have I been putting my identity in for the past 3 years? And I remember hearing God and Him being like, hey, you should say something. Hey, you should open up. And I remember just like in that moment, like feeling a weight off my shoulder, and I was like, hey, like maybe this is where like I belong, and maybe this is where God wants me to be. This year, this January, we went to districts, and I remember sitting in my room and I was praying, and I was like, God, like I want you to do something this weekend. Like I can feel it, God, you're gonna do something. It was the last night before we were leaving. The message was so good. Like I connected with it so much, and the worship was just amazing. Like I just remember giving the worship my all. And I remember the speaker coming up on stage and being like, hey, if you want to give your life to Christ, go find a leader. So I walked up to one of the leaders I'd gotten close with that weekend, and I was like, hey, I want to give my life to Christ. I just remember in that moment, like tears falling down my face. I just felt an overwhelming amount of peace and joy that like everything I had been searching for, I finally found in Christ. So before committing my life to Christ, going to youth group, going to church on Sundays, that was just kind of like a routine for me, like an every week thing. After committing my life to Christ, it really became a passion for me. I love going to youth group, and like the accountability that I have there and the support just makes me so happy. And I want to be that person for someone else. I want to let someone know that they don't have to keep trying to put their identity into the things of this world. They can put their identity into Jesus. They don't have to go through this alone.
Jesus! Bring it down! Jesus! Bring it down! Jesus!